Oh, cool.
Hey everyone, we are doing the quarantine check-in with Robert Frank as I talk to comedians to see how they're doing while they're stuck in quarantine. My guest today is the wonderful, hilarious Hymie Polina?
Close enough. Yeah, Polania. It's all good.
Polania. That sounds
Yeah,
exotic.
I know, right? Does not fit the face.
No, it does not. How long have you been doing comedy?
Be a year. 1 year.
What made you start?
Always been a big fan of comedy. Always like going to comedy shows, but you know what? Through I don't know. I used to play music before, but then I stopped playing music because I got into like a serious relationship. And then I got divorced. So I was like, well, I don't have any music buddies around here. So let me try to make some jokes.
Do you remember the first joke you told on stage?
Yeah, it's one that I would like to say that I removed from my act, but nobody's really been hearing anything from any of our acts recently. But it was just like the Hymie joke, just simple name joke, because it's an odd name, and I felt like it should have been referenced. Uh, but yeah, just saying that it's a derogatory term for a Jewish person, which isn't very kosher. And then that got a laugh, and then that got me hooked.
Yeah, I heard you tell that joke, and I thought you would.
Yeah.
I thought there was more than five of us in the Detroit scene.
Yeah.
So what has been? So how have you been getting through the? How have you been getting through the quarantine?
Through the quarantine, unfortunately, like my day to day really hasn't really changed. I had a second job working as a chef in a cafe in Royal Oak, and they shut down. So they were like, "You can file for partial unemployment," and I didn't know partial unemployment was like a thing until then. But I filed for that. I went down to 20 hours a week at my part-time job and been doing delivery to kind of supplement some income here. So
Is the
yeah.
bank is the bank still full time?
No. Bank. Oh, like is the bank open full time?
No. Do you work there full time?
No. Part time.
Got it.
Yeah. Where I was getting closer to like 30 hours, they like knocked everybody down to like 10 to. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough.
Do you feel safe working?
No, not really. Like they give us the stuff. Like we have Lysol, we have plenty of hand sanitizer, um, the wipes to wipe down the tubes. It's just drive-through only now. So, but originally, like when the outbreak happened, it like took them a while to like get to drive-through only. So like those couple of days coming in, I was like, this is bad.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about going to the bank right now.
Lots of senior citizens,
I
which
saw
is sounds like what? Sorry.
I saw at the grocery store this morning. It was all senior citizens, and I'm like, except for one guy wearing a gold medallion, white guy, just total, looked like he was a stereotypical '80s hip hop dancer.
Mm-hmm.
And all he had in his basket was Doritos and Mountain Dew. I'm like, I would love to party with this guy during the apocalypse.
Got all my essentials in one basket.
Because I know he has weed.
Definitely.
That's all he has is weed, Doritos, and Mountain Dew.
I like the PSAs on Facebook that are like, do you know where your edibles are at? Like, can you contact your guy for a dime bag? It's just like all weed memes. It was great.
I never thought I would live in a world that first of all, that had weed stores in Michigan, but they were considered an essential service.
Yeah, there's this one dispensary in Walled Lake. They're like, we'll take it out to your car. I'm like, what? What a great time we're living in. Like, circumstances not great, but like, wow, carside service for weed.
All I know is I cannot wait to get to work, get back to the office. I'll be excited to see everybody there. Everybody, even especially the homeless people outside. I just want to know they're okay.
It's like nothing really changed for you guys, huh? Like you weren't really in contact with people before.
No, it's probably rough. They set up a lot of shelters for them now. Hopefully, they're doing okay.
Good.
Yeah. Let's see. So how have you been keeping your? Have you been doing the virtual open mics at all, or?
I was thinking about doing one. Jason Spitzenberger invited me to one, and I was simply messaging him like, "Hey man, like, how are you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, you should like come do the virtual open mic." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, but like for real though, man, like, how are you doing?" Like, I had heard that he was doing one, and like other people on MCN have been posting about it, but I was like, "Oh man, I just want to know how you're keeping up." Like, it's not great, you know, the whole
Yeah.
situation.
I feel like
I haven't done one. Have you done one?
I haven't done one. I'm struggling because I have new material that I want to introduce, but I don't know if that's the venue I want to introduce it in.
Yeah, it's maybe we're old school like that, you know. It's like I want the people there. I don't know.
Not that I want to see and hang out with my comedian friends. It's not the same. Just looking at a computer screen. All right, John Campbell's doing okay. Jason's doing okay. Oh, that guy's blitzed out of his mind. I'd rather be there in person.
Yeah,
There's something about the camaraderie of walking outside and watching people smoke.
that's. I'm glad that I'm not the only person who does that. Because I'll go out there and they'll all be smoking, and I'm just like standing there, like, "Hey guys," like just talking with them, just BSing.
Please
It's
think,
always
please think I'm cool.
yeah, yeah. So usually Campbell's always really inviting. He said a good place to get stand-up time is like at city hall meetings because like they give you like so much time. You just go up there and do like 5 minutes and then leave. Like doesn't even have to pertain to the subject. I'm like, that's ridiculous. We
That's
talked about that forever.
did
Yeah.
did you ever watch the show on Dine Up Here? It was on a couple of years ago.
No.
Some of the characters actually did something similar. They would go to AA meetings to do their bits.
That's hilarious.
Have you been writing new stuff while being in prison?
Yeah, because like I know I was just griping about going down to 20 hours a week at the bank, but pretty much they're like, bring stuff to do. Like everyone's already done with all their online courses. Sometimes they'll send us home early and we still get paid. But I've been bringing my Switch and my little book to write new jokes or rewrite old ones and like strip down the material. So strip down the not the material, the word count. So
That's
yeah,
important.
yeah.
I've written.
You've written. Sorry.
I've written one. I did that in the whole Joke-a-thon thing that was going on last week. Like,
Nice.
I don't know. It was just weird doing that because again, that wasn't the way I wanted to introduce that new joke out there. And I didn't want to do the same stuff that I've been doing. I mean, that I have that stuff. It's now like, hopefully, if we all survive this and comedy survives this, I'll have a new 7 minutes that come out of it that will not have any jokes about being stuck in quarantine, COVID-19, or whatever else we're all going through, because
Yeah.
I know the first open mic is going to be joke after joke after joke after joke after joke about that.
I almost want to throw myself on a grenade because I've been thinking about that too. And just like rip out, like make not even like 15-second joke pieces, but just be like, oh, COVID-19. Let's see how many jokes we hear about that. Okay. and then just like go through everyone and just like shame anybody who is going to try it, and then just leave the stage, and then everyone's like, well, there's all of our new material. That way they can do like all their old stuff and be like, yeah, it's like before the pandemic happened. It'd be nice.
It would be nice, but also people would hate you.
Yeah, for sure.
I spent a month working on this. Fuck you, Hymie.
Yeah, that would have been good. I don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing I have in relation to that is just using the word pandemic. That's it.
It's just a weird word.
Yeah.
But it's also really weird, like, of what, God, I can't do this. I just used this in the last one. That everything is basically still an essential service.
Yeah. I didn't know how essential we all were. Like, for real. There was, there's so many good memes, but one of my coworkers, she's old, so she goes to Joann Fabrics. And I was like, are they even still open? Like, how can they be essential? They're like, oh, well, they said that they could make masks, so they're essential. I'm like, that's a stretch. There's no way. Really? Joann Fabrics? How? Like, no one's really shutting down, but they're just shortening hours because there's not enough traffic.
But I guess they're staying open also because Hobby Lobby is refusing to close during all this.
That's crazy.
But
out of all the places.
You know what the craziest thing is? It's because the owner's wife had a vision from God to remain open.
That's safe. You know, that's when you get the calling, you got to stay open.
I wish, if God spoke to you, what do you think he would tell you? Or she?
Stay home. You're infecting everybody. Like, in response to that. But if they were to show up to me, they'd be like, guess what? I'm real. And then they would just leave.
So, I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah.
You kind of lost me on that one. So let me ask you, what have been your favorite memories of the comedy scene in the year that you've been doing it? You recently just had your 1 year. Like, yep. You had it at the ill-fated political rally show.
Yep, the Joke-a-thon, Burn-a-thon, showy show. Yep, that was cool. Turco brought me up, said it was my 1 year. I was like trying to remember all my material, but then he brought it up to everybody, and I was like, well, I guess I should probably talk about this. And then I was on stage. I was like, there's a lot of real fond memories of the past year, going up there, and Pat, the Lansing comic, Pat. I always mess up his last name.
It's Theater.
Okay. He was the one who told me to sign up on MCN when I went to Ann Arbor. And I was like, and it's just been such a great experience. I've been blocked off of that site twice for asking when open mics are. So it's been a welcoming, humbling experience. But I'm back in it now, and I only make jokes about it. But there was, I guess I didn't really realize how much like drama there could be in comedy. People talking about like different cliques and things like that and how it upsets them. But you know what? Like, going through everything, you just kind of, this is going to sound super cheesy. You just kind of got to be yourself and just kind of flow fluidly through everything and try not to have too many beefs. And yeah, I don't know. So Pat was the first one to reach out. And then I went to the 342 after that. Mark Poindexter is like, there's something there, but you should probably take a comedy class. Just his nice way of saying that you're not funny yet. And then I took the class, met Bill, met Aaron, met Micah, like everybody who I started like going out and like talking to. Then, pretty much halfway point or like 3/4 of the point there, me and you started talking. Me and Amanda started talking more. Like, I don't know. I guess the friendships, the honest friendships, have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Throughout comedy.
No, that's the one thing that I really like about it is comedy has some of the best people I've ever met in it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's one of the reasons I have a blast doing it. Also, I'm competitive, so I want to have the best set of the night. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't happen. So where do you think comedy is going to go when all this is said and done?
Jeez. I don't know, man. Like, the short answer is I don't know. The long answer is, like, we're going to have to try to get a vaccine for this thing, right? And that'll eventually happen in probably a couple of months, right?
A vaccine has probably already been developed, and now this has to go through the rigorous 12 to 18 months of testing.
Right. So, are we really going to be safe? Like, come April, which I feel like is just, you're like a ass pull at this point, you know? Like, oh, just April, it'll be over in like a month.
I'm guessing we will start being able to go back to work in May full time. I think for all over the country it'll be very different just based on when we reach that point. I'm guessing Michigan is going to reach that point in 2 weeks where we have the most cases.
Yeah.
Just as long as people stay home, don't go out unless they really have to. I'm hoping by May. I'm hoping. Actually, I am hoping that I have a show at the end of April and the show in Farvers. I hope that show happens. That's what I'm hoping that we'll be ready by the end of April, but I'm guessing really nothing until May.
Yeah. So,
see, actually, I hope it happens tomorrow so I can not do this the quarantine check-in anymore. I'd rather see all of you in person. I want this to end.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice if we could just like all hang out like in a group of 10 or less. That'd be funny. Like if we're all hang out and we're still all staying like 6 feet away. It's like, I don't know, you might still get it. But geez, given all the situation, if they were going to have a vaccine in enough time and everything, like we'll be going back to work, but there's still going to be a fair number of people that are going to be like unsure or shaky about like initially going back. Like I'm sure they miss everybody, but there's going to be people who are going to take the skepticism to a whole new level. And if that's holding true, then clubs are going to end up taking a hit, just like, whereas it's a little bit harder to get people to come out and see you do comedy before the pandemic. Now, afterwards, when we have like a vaccine or a vaccine getting tested, it's going to be that much more of a challenge. Like, I don't know. It's not going to like flip the switch and everything's back to normal. I'm sure it's going to flip the switch and a lot of comedians are going to be out there and will be performing in open mics and that will be still a thing. But as far as like audience attendance, maybe even just people randomly showing up at the bar might be a stretch.
I think
I don't think it's going to be quick.
I think once the bars are open, people are going to go to them. I think people are.
I think it's going to flood.
I think people are going to be so sick of sitting in their house.
Yeah.
I'm like right now. I'm working from home, and I have no, I have no barrier between work and where I just relax, which makes me a little bit more stressed out with everything. But I mean, I'm itching to go back to the office. I worked in the office until the very last day they told me I couldn't because I need that break. I also need to be driving in my car. I need that like 30 minutes between work and home just to clear my head. And
to relax.
Yeah. I mean, I missed that. But enough on the downer stuff. So I have a couple of questions before we wrap this up. So were your parents a big fan of the Rankin Bass holiday classic Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? There was a character on there named Hymie who wanted to be a dentist.
Oh yeah. What's his name? Hymie? Oh,
Hymie,
yeah. Holy crap! I did not know that was his name.
Were you named after that? Were you named after that character?
I wish. No, that's so much cooler. No, oh geez, I don't know. For the people who are going to be watching this, I'm going to try to drop my name bit altogether. But legitimately, when I asked my parents where they came up with the name Hymie, the first time they said it was a tennis player. The second time they said I was named after a famous golfer. My backup name was Patrick. That was like draft 1. You imagine this dumb face being called Patrick? Like, that doesn't make any sort of sense.
So you would have had nicknames like PP.
Yep, PP.
Yeah.
The big PP, little PP. But now I'm just Harry Potter.
Whoa, yeah, not really. No offense, you're nothing like Harry Potter.
No, not even slightly.
You wouldn't last a second against Lord Voldemort.
No, I'd get my head exploded for sure.
Yeah, and sorry, I would be on the side. I would be on the side of Lord Voldemort. Like, I'm a big fan of the Harry Potter saga, as I call it, the Voldemort saga. I've never seen the second half of the final movie.
Oh, really?
The first part had the most amazing ending. You had Harry, Ron, Emma Watson all on the run, and then you had all the villains winning. It was like the greatest moment in cinematic history.
Right.
So there's no need to see, Harry's going to win. Ooh, who cares?
Yeah, it's just like, let's see how you shut off the first movie and you're like, this is the right ending. This is what's right. They're just hiding. They're living in squalor for the rest of their life. The villains win. There we go.
I just imagine his cousin, who wasn't a wizard, turning on him for his life and giving Harry to Voldemort. Just ending it all right there. That's my ending to it. J.K. Rowling could just hit me up and write an alternative history to that.
There you go.
So before we end this, I've become a big fan of Craigslist misconnections.
Oh, nice.
I like to read one to you, and hopefully you can crack a joke about it. All right?
Yikes. All right.
So this one is from Glendale, Arizona. It's called Fake Taxi. Looking for info on fake taxi available near the Glendale, Peoria, Phoenix area. Curious to see if what happens in there, or willing to allow.
So am I supposed to formulate a response to it?
Just a joke. Just riff off of it.
Just a joke. Oh, okay. All right. Out of Glendale, Arizona, fake taxi. She could have just, you know what? She could have just been a little bit more subtle about it instead of just putting fake taxi. It's like seeking British maybe porn star in his 50 to 60s who owns independent taxi company. Like, and then in like the subject be like, winky face, you know who you are. I'll be at the corner of blah 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 from these times, and then just like put it out there. The weird thing about like fake taxi, that's like intro porn, wouldn't you say? Like, that's just like, I'm gonna watch this also kind of for the laughs, but then like you don't see the guy's face, but you blur the guy's face, but you see his asshole like within 15 minutes. Like,
it sounds like a cheap variation on the Bang Bus.
Yep. It's the same concept, but a lot less room. And then it's almost gotten me a little bit creeped out of taxis, but the New York trip.
Is taxi a porno thing?
Oh yeah, big time. Yep.
All right. I thought my response to this was, oh, this person wants to get murdered. So I was going to, so I am not aware of the whole new fake taxi phenomenon.
Oh yeah. Yep. It was a thing, you know. She wants to get murdered with cock. That's what she's looking for.
That's
a
good name for a band. Murdered with cock or murdered by cock.
Hell yeah.
You know, if that was my band, everyone would have to dress up as a rooster.
Would it be? I feel like it would be a metal band or like a hardcore punk band.
I was thinking we'd be a ska band.
Ska band? Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, fake taxi is totally a thing. Yeah, it's pretty awful because it's like Bang Bus. You have you have room to sort of move.
Well, yeah,
depending on the bus. But like taxi, there's not a whole lot of space when you're just sitting in the taxi without trying to get fucked. But it's always really funny because like the lead up into it is always the same. The guy's like, "Oh, how about I take a look at your knackers or something?" So that was a bad
it's fake taxi
impersonation. Oh yeah, there's a British version, and then there's like I think there's an American version, but they did like a reverse Office thing, you know, like the British one's the better one, in most opinion. But the lady always she always ends up doing like a little spread eagle.
No, don't.
you know, she'll do like a little spread eagle, and she was just like, "Oh, why don't you come back here and show me what you got?" Like every single time. It's just like that's their opener. It's the spread eagle.
Like the Bang Bus, which is shot pseudo realistic.
Yeah. Yep. Pseudo realistic. They'll pull over in like a safe spot. He was like, "Oh, I got the perfect spot for you." We'll like pull over.
Do you think that person thought the fake taxi is real?
I think so.
That she does not realize that there is no reality in porn.
Yeah, like even the non-listed names at the bottom, like they're still names. They just didn't put them out there.
Can you imagine actually going into a Bang Bus and not realizing it's a Bang Bus? And going, oh.
I thought this was an Uber. I thought this was it Uber Black that you have like multiple people to get in there or something?
That's Uber Pool.
Uber Pool. Uber Pool and a Bang Bus.
All right, I'm gonna end with this Uber Pool story I have. Okay.
Awesome.
I was in Chicago, and I was meeting up with some friends. Used Uber Pool because it was way cheaper, and was going back to the Airbnb I was staying at. I put the wrong address in, and I'm stuck with this really, really drunk girl who is passed out, and the Uber driver. So we're at her. The Uber driver dropped her off at her place, and I wake her up. She's like, "Oh, you're not going to do anything to me, are you?" I'm like, "Nope." She's like, "That's too bad." And I'm like, "This is weird." She then turns to the Uber driver and goes, "You want to come up with me?" He's like, "Yep." Stops the car, goes up with her, and goes, "Dude, you have to find another ride."
Are you serious? What?
I don't even know where the fuck I am.
Tell me an Uber Pool guy.
And all I could do is give him 1 star. Fuck you, revenge.
God. Sorry, man. You're going to have to find another ride. Pulls over, kicks you out. That's messed up.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, I don't do Uber Pool anymore.
No.
All right, well, man, thank you for being on the show. This has gone way longer because usually I try to keep it to 15 minutes. This one will be at 30 minutes.
You can cut out everything.
No worries, man.
I'm so sorry.
We see you sooner than later. And normally I would say we should, say what shows we're doing, but none of us are doing any shows. Hopefully, Laughs in the Lair, Unnamed, and the Throat Fivers will all be back sooner than later. And Hymie, good luck with your move, and I will hopefully see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, Robert.
You too.